Hi everybody, my name is Shelly and I am thrilled to be here today to talk to you all about relaxation, the importance of relaxation, why it helps us and why we yearn it. One of the reasons that relaxation is so important for us is that often we get anxious feelings. You know those feelings, the heart starts to race, we might feel a little bit sick in the belly, that feeling that we often find uncomfortable. Those feelings are manageable and those feelings are also useful. Sometimes we don't want to get rid of it completely. Everybody feels anxious thoughts sometimes, okay? So those anxious feelings can help prepare us if we're in danger. Those feelings can motivate us. We get a big surge of energy often when we have those feelings. Those feelings can teach us that something is important to us and also help us to be brave. So we don't want to get rid of it completely, but sometimes we might feel like we need to manage it. What can go on for us is that the brain can give us lots and lots of thoughts, and sometimes those thoughts can bring about anxious feelings. The brain is amazing, okay? It has thousands upon thousands of thoughts a day, and those thoughts can be happy thoughts, sad thoughts, weird thoughts, creative thoughts, true thoughts, untrue thoughts. A lot of people think, well, if I think it, it must be true, and that is just not accurate at all. And part of the problem that can come for us is we start to seek to control those thoughts and the feelings that arise from those thoughts. So then that can make us start to feel other things like frustration and anger. So what happens when we're seeking to control our thoughts? We're moving away from the things that are important to us and the things that we know are true and that we want for ourselves. So I like to think that we can get to a place where we can actually just have an acceptance and an acknowledgement that the brain will always be thinking. Some of the thoughts are helpful. They're the thoughts that we want to keep extending upon that will help us get to where we want to go. Some of those thoughts, not so helpful. And they're the thoughts that we just acknowledge but keep moving from. Okay? A metaphor that I like to think of that you could use to imagine how our thoughts work is if you think of it like a car that pulls up out the front of your house and the car wants you to get in and go for a ride. And I mean go for a ride around and around in your brain. We've all been there, haven't we? That time where we just can't get thoughts out of our head and we let it go around and around. My thinking is that we can actually see the car pull up. It asks us to get in for a ride, to go around and around the block, but we can see that it's blowing a lot of smoke and it's driving dangerously and it might take us somewhere we don't want to go. So we see the car, we acknowledge that it's there, we say, no thanks, I've decided I'm not going to jump in and go for a ride around and around the block or around and around in my mind. So this takes practice. And one of the ways you can get used to this and practice this is to actually just become aware of your thoughts. We're not fighting with them though, because remember what happens when you start to fight and wrestle with your thoughts, then it's distracting you away from what it is that you want to do and what it is that you want to be focusing on. Okay, we're just acknowledging it and then keeping on moving in that direction to where we want to go. So there's an acronym that we use called ACE, and this is something that you can use to help you relax if you're feeling like your thoughts are getting in the way of you and they're making you feel not well or unhappy. Okay, so the A in ACE is acknowledge your thoughts. So that is saying, stopping what you're doing and thinking, okay, what's going on for me right now? Acknowledge it. Is it a thought? Maybe I'm having a sensation in my body. Maybe a memory has come up. Maybe an emotion is being stirred in me. Stop. Acknowledge that. say to yourself, this is what's going on for me. Okay, I acknowledge that. Then the C in ACE is about coming back into your body. And there are a few ways that you can do that. And this is really just to bring you back into your physical presence. So one way people do it is they might push their feet hard onto the ground. Another way is that you might push your hands together like that, your fingertips. Another thing you could do might be to roll your neck around and roll your shoulders and just get a sense that you're coming back into your body. Okay, so you've acknowledged what's going on for you. Then you come back into your body. The E is engage back in what you're doing. Sometimes you may need to use more grounding techniques while you're trying to engage back in what it is that you're doing. And some grounding techniques that we use might be name 5 things that you can see, name 4 things that you can touch, name 3 things that you can hear, 2 things that you can smell, and so on. And this is just to engage you back and to ground you back. Okay, so ACE is a good acronym for you to remember if you're feeling like your thoughts are getting away from you, but you want to be able to maintain focus on what it is you want to do. And that could just be the direction that it is that you want to go in. One of the things that I really want to explain to you is that we have an idea or sometimes a concept that to really get into relaxation, we need to dedicate quite a lot of time to that every day. Some people have got images and visions of people doing meditations and relaxations for half an hour or 40 minutes. And sometimes it can feel like we don't have the time for that. So I want to say to you that it can take as little as 30 seconds to come back into yourself and just calm yourself down and relax those thoughts. I do it all the time. So sometimes I might be at work, sometimes I'm driving in the car and there might be a lot of traffic and I might feel like I'm running late. And I listen to my body and I start to feel my heart rate move up. I might start to feel some tingling in my body and some stiffness in my neck and things like that, or a little bit of butterflies in my belly. So they are all the signs for me that something is going on for me physically and I need to bring myself back into the physical. Now this might sound like a funny thing that somebody my age does, sitting in the car or sitting in the office. You can just do this in your head, but it takes as little as 30 seconds. And this is what it is that I do. You don't always have to do the hand movements, and I do this with people of all ages, and they talk about it working for them. So thumbs up like that, and I'll say, smell the flowers, blow out the candles. Smell the flowers, blow out the candles. And you can do that 3 times, 5 times, it just depends on the time that you've got. People often say to me, that really feels like it worked. I actually feel a lot calmer. So why is that? Why is it that 5, even 3 deep breaths actually make us feel calmer? I'll explain to you what it is. When our body starts to get anxious feelings to the extent that our heart rate starts to go up and we're feeling a little bit of butterflies in our belly, what we automatically start to do is we actually start to breathe more shallow. So we start to take less big breaths, but more frequent breaths. So what's going on for our brain right then is that it's not getting the oxygen that it so needs to think with clarity and to make calm choices and decisions. You know how when you're feeling a little bit anxious that you might be quicker to anger, maybe you might burst into tears. That is because our emotional brain is switched on when we're feeling agitated and we've got the heart rates going. Our thinking brain has become quiet. So by doing those deep breaths, actually what we're doing is we're feeding and we're nurturing the thinking part of our brain so it can start to come back into gear and allow us to make more rational decisions and feel calmer. Okay, so this is really, really important for us because we want to start feeling more confident and more in control of our emotions. I've spoken to you today about the fact that we can do quick relaxation, things that we can just move into our everyday life. I am now going to take you through a guided relaxation. This can take anywhere from 3 minutes to 5 minutes, and you can do it at home by yourself. It's a really good one to do at night when you're lying in bed, especially if you have difficulty sleeping or if you wake up during the night. So I'd really like to just take you through this. It'll just take us a few minutes. Basically just sit or lie down wherever you feel comfortable. Make sure that you can feel your feet, or if you're lying down, the back of your body on the ground. Just get a sense of that. And I just want you to start taking a few deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. We'll do that 3 times. Now you can keep your eyes open or closed to do this, whatever makes you feel comfortable, okay? There's no pressure to do things perfectly. And what I want you to do is on the in-breath, I want you to scrunch up your toes. And on the out-breath, release them. Then I want you to just move your ankles about on the in-breath. And then just release and stop on the out-breath. Now see if you can tighten your calf muscles on the in-breath. It can be tricky. And let go on the out-breath. And I want you to clench up your knees and your thighs. Hold those muscles in on the in-breath. And then release on the out-breath. And I want you to clench the muscles in your arms. Feel them come tight on the in-breath. And then release on the out-breath. Next, with your abdominal muscles, clench them in on the in-breath. Release them on the out-breath. And I want you to shrug your shoulders, pull your shoulders up on the in-breath, and then just gently release them on the out-breath. Now just take a few more deep breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth. Through the nose, out through the mouth, in through the nose, out through the mouth. I want you to be aware that thoughts might come into your head, and that's okay. Remember, we just acknowledge them and then just come back to the breathing. So now on the in-breath, turn your head to the left, into the center on the out-breath, and turn to your right on the in-breath, and exhale as you come back to the center. A few more deep breaths, and what you can do is start to do a body scan up your body, starting the toes. Just imagine that you're moving up through the body. Is there any parts that feel a bit stiff that you think you need to breathe into? In through the nose, out through the mouth. Okay, so that's just a few minutes of guided relaxation that you can do yourself. And I just want you to have a little bit of a think about if you're feeling differently to what you were feeling before you started that. I actually did some relaxation exercises with some groups of young people last year for many, many months. We did it every week for months. And what we started to find was that we craved it. We started to really, really look forward to it. They said that they just felt like they had so many things going on in their mind, things going on with school, with work, with training, with family, with friends, with partners and social media and technology, that the chance to just actually relax and have a break from it became something that they desperately needed and really looked forward to. So I'd like to ask you to give that to yourself as a gift, as a way of caring for yourself, but it's giving your body and mind a gift as well. It's allowing it to just have a little break from our busy lives. Another thing I wanted to tell you about was the different apps that you can download that will take you through meditations and relaxations. So a really popular one, and it came from Australia, I think, and it's become internationally well known, and that's Smiling Mind. We've also got an app called Happify. There is Headspace. There's another app called Calm and Breathe to Relax. Lots and lots of free apps that you can use, and you'll have the option of a 1 minute meditation relaxation through to much longer ones. So if you'd like to continue doing these relaxation exercises, I recommend that you do that. Just one final thing that I wanted to add as well is that I've spoken a bit today about having anxious thoughts, and I want you to know that if you feel like you are experiencing extreme symptoms of anxiety, and that would be that it gets in the way of you being able to function normally in your day-to-day life and overwhelms you on a physical and or emotional and psychological level, that you please do go and seek support for that, whether that be to your doctor, or if you contact a service like Headspace or any such service that can assist you if you need some help with it. Okay, so thank you very much.